I am now live. Hi everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a lovely Sunday. Lovely to be here. I'll wait for you guys to join. I'm having a very, very special guest today joining me. I'm having Dr. Uzma joining me today. She's a medical director and an aesthetic doctor in my skin clinic based in UK. She's going to be talking more about herself, but we're here to celebrate her success, and we're here to talk about the importance of skin consultation, skin analysis, skincare consultation, and education, and how we can use this in order to improve our businesses for 2023. So she's actually a perfect success story. I'm actually going to read what she has written to me. She has attended the Pro Masterclass in March 2022, and she's compared her skincare sales comparing to 9 months before she joined the class and 9 months after she joined the class. And we have seen that she has increased her skincare sales by 102%. So this is an incredible, incredible achievement. So I congratulate herself and the team for achieving this. So we're really going to be talking about herself, her team, what she's aiming for 2023, how she's incorporating the learnings of skincare education, skincare science education, in order to better her services, and also in order to incorporate a consultative sale approach in her clinic, not just face-to-face, but also virtually. All right, she's going to be joining me soon. I did just have and finish a masterclass today as well, so I apologize. I'm actually feeling a little bit tired. I've been speaking 7.5 hours just before this. Right. If you bear with me, I know so many of you are asking questions already in terms of skincare. If you bear with me till the end of this live, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spare 10 minutes and I'm going to answer all your questions. So I'm going to be adding Uzma now. Right. Go. Yeah, please bear with me until the end of the session, and then I'm going to be answering all your questions. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invite and just giving me the opportunity to talk to you today.
Oh, no, it's really lovely to have you. It's I was just saying that I've had the masterclass session, and you know how it is, the day one, right? It's like full on science of skincare, and just finished now. So I'm like,
mind blowing.
My mind is blowing. Yeah, exactly. How you been?
Very good, actually. It's Sunday here in the UK, Sunday morning. Oh, well, no, it's afternoon now, isn't it? 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's still cold and it's still wet and a little bit snowy. So.
Yeah, well, I'm in Malaysia, so it's lovely. The weather is 32 degrees, lovely, sunny.
Not jealous at all.
No, not jealous at all. No, we're getting all the family to come and visit us in Malaysia, because they were like, oh, do you want to come and visit us in England? And we're like, no, we just come to Malaysia. It's warmer, it's better.
It's
right. Wet. Sorry?
It's that horrible wet weather here at the moment.
No. So, yeah, please tell us more about yourself. Tell us where you're based, your business, your expertise. Please, tell us more about yourself, please.
So I am a doctor by background. I work in Yorkshire in the UK. I have been in aesthetics now for about 5 years. Have my own aesthetics clinic with my business partner. And as the name suggests, my skin clinic, we are all about skin, and, you know, that's the basis and the foundation of everything that we do. My background is I am surgically trained. I've got my qualifications in surgery, and then I've also been a GP for the last sort of 12-ish years as well. So a breadth of experience. And in our aesthetics clinic, we offer a whole wide range of treatments, from skincare all the way up to surgical treatments.
Okay, perfect. And where are you based?
Yorkshire in the UK.
Okay, all right. So if anyone's around Yorkshire, you know where to go. Yeah. You can go and follow Uzma as well from My Skin Clinic directly. And yeah, so if anyone's living around Yorkshire, you'll know now where to go. Perfect.
Absolutely.
And what you said services that you offer is more on the skin and skincare category. So you kind of basically cover the whole range of anything to do with skin.
Yes, absolutely. So, our model is based around the sort of medical model and the consultation process. So all patients come in, have a consultation where we find out, what their concerns are. Sometimes it's very, very surgical. I've got skin tag, I would like that removed. And other times it's I have acne or I have pigmentation. And, it's a sort of breadth of things that they come in. But we like to sort of offer everybody a skin consultation and a skin analysis. We're lucky to have one of the skin analysis machines in the clinic, and it's our sort of foundation. You can want Botox or you can want fillers, but if your skin isn't looking optimum, then you're not really going to get the best kind of wow from those treatments. So we always try to bring it back to let's work on a great foundation on which to build all the other treatments, and skin, that's where skin comes into it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think it's very important as well, like while you are introducing more medical treatments in clinic, for them to also get enhanced effect and using products at home, because they're probably more likely to be able to use their products at home day and night and be
Yes.
on a routine that they're able to maintain that at home and then come and see you ever so often to be able to top up and enhance the effect that they get from their home skincare products.
Yeah. I mean, an analogy I often sort of state to my patients is, so you go to the dentist and they do a lovely scale and polish and make your teeth look fantastic. And then you're at home for 6 months or 3 months. You brush your teeth every single day, morning and night, to maintain those results. So skincare is a little bit like that, because sometimes people go, oh, I'm busy, I don't have time, and how am I going to fit it all in? So if you want to get the real value out of the in-clinic treatments, the facials and the other invasive things, think of skincare a bit like brushing your teeth at home. You're trying to maintain and enhance those results, and you're investing in your skin in that way.
And I think what COVID has kind of, despite the challenging times I'll say that we had in industry, I think it has actually made the skincare category much more prominent as well in terms of what people are expected to have their skin look. Previously, it was more about, I would say, like pre-COVID, like skincare was almost like a part of makeup. And skincare comes before makeup, and the makeup was like the main area where people would go and spend their money. And I
Yes.
would say with more and more education and highlight and spotlight on ingredients, and lots of brands has helped that as well by incorporating and putting the active ingredients on the label, where we're able to really understand and question. So the consumer is now able to question, what is this ingredient that this brand is trying to tell me? So that whole element of skincare education is actually coming into play, especially this last couple of years, and people are more aware of what they're actually applying on their skin and what they hope to achieve from it as well.
100%. I agree with you. I think I found that I was having a more educated and well-informed patient, and sort of people coming to see me who knew, everybody knows a lot more about retinols and vitamin C's and glycolic acid and salicylic acid. So it means you, as the expert and the person who's guiding them through the sort of myriad of options, has to have that higher level of knowledge. And I think that's when I started seeking information and thinking, where can I go to give me that understanding of formulations? Because when you look at label, and you look at all the long names and everything, even as a doctor with lots of knowledge of various ingredients and long words, etc., I found it very mind-baffling to think, is this one right for me? Is this right for my patients, etc.?
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, when I came across yourself.
I think that leads on to the question really well in terms of how did you enroll into the Skin Masterclass program? So I didn't have to ask you the question. So it was essentially matter of fact that you were looking for a platform where you would be able to extend your knowledge in skincare science. and for you
Yeah,
to be able
absolutely.
to understand the ingredients, I'll say the overall label as a whole, not just maybe the active ingredients, because that's what we always focus on. And I think the consumer, as you said, they're very educated. They kind of understand the active ingredients now,
Mm,
but I still feel like we can still guide them in a way where, okay, this is the active ingredients in this specific product, and like this product has retinol, this product has retinol, but what makes this product more better for you versus this product? It's just really understanding between the lines and understanding the supporting ingredients. What are the humectants in the product? What is retinol supported with? Does it have other additives or other active ingredients that will help enhance the effect of retinol? Really tailoring the skincare
mm.
routine for our
I like
clients.
that word tailoring, absolutely, because I was
Mhm.
finding that, with the brand training that you get, it's quite generic. And the brand advice was, okay, if you've got a patient with acne or pigmentation or rosacea, these are the steps that you take. And then I was finding that, okay, with patient A, I got fantastic results, and patient B, I didn't get fantastic results. Now, I needed to kind of strip that back and say, well, what did I do different? I didn't do anything differently. So what was the reason? The reason must be obviously perhaps patient factors and things that I needed to consider that these products perhaps weren't suitable. And if they weren't suitable, why were they not suitable? And as you say, it's to do with the other additives or something else that's going on in terms of the analysis part of the assessment part of the consultation. And having an understanding of, well, where does the retinol sit in this product? Is it strong enough? Is it not strong enough? Is it the right type of retinol, for example? Knowing, understanding that the difference between the trets and the adapalene and the
Mhm.
retinols and the retinolhaldehydes, etc. And that level and degree of understanding really came from attending the Skin Masterclass.
I'm really happy to be able to provide that because it is my passion for a very, very long time, as I explained to you
Which
guys
shows.
before as well. But no one really cared. I was, no one really cared. I was like, niacinamide and retinol and da, 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 like talking about all the different types of vitamin C. And really, really no one cared. I think apart from,
Well,
yeah, and then
yeah,
slowly,
you
slowly,
do care. You do care if you're the one providing that information and that guidance to your patients, because you
yeah,
need to understand it to be able to guide them. I mean, if we find it a minefield, when I think about what my patients say, and sometimes when they bring in their products that they're using, and it's really sometimes where they're getting their advice from, and you're thinking, oh, these two things don't go together. I'm not surprised that, your skin is not responding or is doing something weird and wonderful.
yeah, exactly. I think it was always based on because I was very concentrated on, seeing one-to-one and one-to-one the consumers and personalizing skincare products for them. And it wasn't until you guys actually was the ones that initiated the interest in saying, actually, we also need this education because yes, you're guiding the consumer, but we also want to be educated in skincare science. And that's when it clicked on me. Actually, yeah, that's true. There is a big gap in the
Mm-hmm.
market because most of my friends and colleagues within this industry, they would get normally the brand
Yeah.
training. And they will attend multiple brand trainings, but then how do we combine all the education that we learned from XYZ brands, and how do I compile all them together to be able to create, again, that tailored bespoke skincare products by using Obagi and Elimie and Medicate and
Yeah.
Zedo Obagi all together, right? It has a place. Like you can practically be using lots of different brands in the skincare routine. We don't really need to be
No.
following a full-scale protocol, which I believe was a bit groundbreaking because even last year, I would say most of the time, if you go for a pigmentation treatment and you're working directly with a doctor, I think slowly now we're breaking that more into be able to create a skincare routine by you just using not only one brand but multiple brands. But most of the
Absolutely.
people will just carry on going through the
And
uh,
I was one of
recommended
those.
routine.
Yeah. I,
Yes.
I was one of those where it was very much okay. You've got pigmentation. This is your system, for example,
Yeah.
and not thinking about patients individual. Are they going to follow a 7-step system? Consistency is key to getting results in skincare. Are they going to
Mm-hmm.
follow that? Budget is important,
Yeah.
especially in the current climate as well. It's important to be sensitive to people's budget. They want to get the results, but at the same time, can they pay the hundreds and hundreds of pounds? And, you know, it's about making sure that you go on that journey with your patient. And that's where the consultation and the assessment comes in, to understand what their needs are. And having that knowledge of understanding the formulations means that you can pick maybe the more expensive actives, but perhaps then the other items you can bespoke it and say, let's help you keep within your budget by bringing some of the other things from a less expensive brand that's still going to get you results and still going to do what it says on the tin, but then it's personalized. And that really, I think, has changed the way that I consult and I advise my patients massively. And that whole results part has increased as well, in terms, because when patients start seeing the results, then that's it, they get it, and they know the trust is there, they understand that you're going to manage their expectations in that way.
I think that's a very important element that we all miss, like the trust, because the last thing that we want to do is to be able to, well, we go to and get an assessment and we get given the most expensive skincare range without the consideration of what is my budget.
Yes.
What is also a big step that is also missed is, what are you currently using as well? The question of what are you currently using? Is it contributing probably a skin condition that you're trying to diagnose or treat? And if any of the products, you might find actually your patient might be using all the correct products, but she's just not using, or he's just not using it correctly. Or maybe over excessively exfoliating or over excessively applying the retinol without actually giving some downtime in skin. And that will actually have a knock-on effect on the results as well. So it might just be literally a matter of fact that let's try this, let's just manipulate this, like alter this, and you might start getting results. And it might be a case where they just literally need one single product, maybe a single, like a pigmentation serum or an anti-aging serum that might just fit in really well within their skincare routine that they're already using. And they're having to basically save. I always say as well, if you're able to save your clients or your patients' routine that they're currently using, having not tell them, throw it all in the bin, and they can give you 6, 7 products instead of using it.
Use mine because it's better. I think in the last 9 months, I can remember one patient who I said, bin it all and let's start from fresh. And that's really because he had quite a reaction to the products that he was using. And he said, look, let's just start from point zero and work our way back up to see what it is that you've not agreed with. But otherwise, it's generally, okay, well, your products, you know, some of them are effective, let's use them up and let's start adding things that are going to give you better results, rather than, oh, it's rubbish, mine's much better, and use mine. Because like you say, there's lots of great brands. Sometimes it's just the way that people have put things together.
Yeah, and cosmeceutical brands as well, like despite they're not clinically tested or they don't have to go through the same level of assessments, I'll say, like medical skincare brands. There are still, like, have the same active ingredients that the medical skincare brands have. So it's all depending on the formulation, if they include penetration enhancers, which is a big topic that I talk about, pH of their skincare, what is it, again, what's the supporting ingredients, how is the active ingredients coming together with other ingredients that enhance the effects. And layering is also very important as well. I think that's a big factor where people are still, and I think this will always continue. It's not a matter of fact that people can just understand it and resolve very quickly, because skincare is very evolving and it always changes. So what might be trendy this year might be completely changed next year, right? So I actually have an article which is predicting the skincare trends of next year. So it's very totally different to the skincare trends of this year. So again, there's going to be lots of questions. Why? Okay, so where do I put this ingredient? Like, how do I layer it? Can I combine it with retinol? Can I combine it with my vitamin C, for example? Or I think that's probably the most asked question. I don't know, what about you? You tell me. But my most asked question from my clients would be, can I use this product and use this product together? Can I layer this product and this ingredient together? What about you? What's the questions that people come and knock on your door for? Mostly.
It's mostly when we're like, how long till I get my results? That's probably the most one, like, you know. And I think it's just helping people to understand that it's not, skincare is not a quick fix, and you need to be on, you know, you can't just treat something and then say, okay, it's cured. It's very rare in skincare when you're dealing with problems with skincare. And even then, you know, if you're thinking about an anti-aging perspective, you need to stay and maintain yourself on something. I suppose the other things are absolutely, when do I use these products, in what order, and is it okay to use in the morning or the evening, and what steps do they go in? So we tend to give people written, you know, in either text or email to say, this is AM and PM, blah, 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 etc. So, yeah, but that's it. And I can understand it's confusing, you know, as you said, there's so many things out there.
It is, yeah. Yeah, and it's almost like, that's why I think education is so important, because it's almost like if they stop coming to you, let's say, right, which I know that's not the case for you because you have a great follow-up consultation routine where it's part of your quality assessment. And I remember talking with you. So almost all your patients that come and see you, initially, they will always carry on with you, which is great.
We have,
I always say, yeah.
So we have we've changed the way that we do our sort of skincare, because I felt last year that we were not seeing or not offering them the sort of follow-up and the reviews. So now we have quite a rigid protocol, I suppose, where they get a phone call at 2 weeks, then at 6 weeks we have a face-to-face, and then after that, every 6 weeks or 12 weeks, depending on what we're treating, they will have a face-to-face, and that can be virtual. Ideally, it's nice for people to come in. I've seen since COVID, people do like to come in and have that in one-to-one interaction, although there is a lot more appetite now for virtual, because it's more accepted, I suppose.
Yeah, perfect. And then you'll automatically be with virtual consultations. You're not just basically having your clientele around you, but you'll be able to then tap into different cities. Yeah. Because I understand, like, well, with the train strikes as well, that's another issue. But also the cost of accommodation, if they come and see you, the cost of travel to get to see you as well. So it's like we live in such a digital world at the moment where it is only going to get more and more digital. I know it's a bit sad to say, but that is the reality of things, where people are expected to reach things very quickly with their fingertips. So. Yes. And I always say that, for example, social media is here to stay, right? So it might be Instagram today, but it might be another platform tomorrow. But no matter what, we are able to reach millions of people if we want to, with our content, with our education. Yeah. And it's for free, right? I know it's hard to get there and it's hard to increase our reach, but essentially there is a great source of free platform where we can literally go online and speak, and it can get shared and distributed across wherever. So that's the reason why I really am very strongly thinking that virtual consultations and adapting into a virtual skincare consultation is very, very important, not only for clinics, but also for brands, and retail stores as well, digital retail stores, virtual retail stores, also, physical retail stores where they can adapt and have a skincare consultation where they are able to directly sell. Because people now, I would say, more than skincare products, they're looking for the advice more than the product.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. I think, and since we've gone to the sort of consultation model and done the education part of things, also it works the other way, is that you have that engagement and the compliance is a lot better, because people understand why are you advising a salicylic acid, why are you advising vitamin C, why are you advising things like prescription-based hydroquinone, etc. Because once they understand how it works, and also why did the condition occur in terms of what factors were affected. So the education part is fundamental to that engagement and making sure that people then stay on that. And again, it goes back to the trust aspect. Once they know that you know what you're doing, what you're talking about, you understand what you're advising and why you're advising it, and also you're able to manage things when they perhaps don't go quite the way that they wanted. So, we talk about purging, we talk about the reactions to things like the retinols, etc. Once you're able to manage those, not necessarily side effects, but effects of using perhaps more potent ingredients, again, that helps with that, keeping them on that path and not falling off and saying, oh no, this isn't working for me.
And you have found definitely that education is basically the way forward in terms of your business strategy as well. So adapting a consultative approach to skincare selling, not just
Yes.
saying, okay, this is what I recommend you use because you've done Botox or aesthetic treatments, but this is based on your skin type, your skin needs. We've done your analysis, and you're very lucky to have that tool as well incorporated in your clinic.
Yeah. I think that's the other thing, that the Skin Masterclass, the consultation process and the analysis, it's helped to standardize everything. So, you know, I'm very much about, I want to be able to reproduce my results to some degree. Obviously, everybody is an individual, but we need a tool to do the assessment. And that's why I think the assessment part is really important. And that's where, you know, looking at what is their Fitzpatrick, are they oily? Do they have breakouts? Have they got pigmentation? And doing that whole breaking down to think about, okay, well, this person may be oily and they may have pigmentation, but they've also got sensitized skin. So therefore, what I'm going to advise them is going to be very different to, say, somebody whose main problem is breakouts. And being able then to do that assessment so that then the basis of what you're advising is on solid, is based on, you know, the actual, it's a bit like when we do an assessment, you know, if I'm assessing somebody for a chest infection in my job as a GP, you know, whether or not I give them antibiotics depends on what my findings are, and that's what the assessment part is. Finding and doing the examination of the skin then helps me decide what's the treatment plan.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very personalized. I think it's it makes our job very, very interesting, I guess, because it will be very boring if we're able to just say, okay, this is for acne, this is for pigmentation, and this is for aging, and I just sell free collection. It's actually much more complicated than that. And again, as you said, budget makes a big issue, because if the budget is restricted, then, you know, we will have to cut down on some certain products, but then it also gives us the opportunity to see that the world is our oyster when it comes to skincare as well, right? Because you might have...
It's opened up, It's opened up my shelf, so to speak. So whereas previously I was just doing the brands, and now I'm able to look at lots of different pick items from different brands to say, okay, we want to keep within this budget. Let's pick item A from this brand, this brand, etc.
Yeah. Again, I was actually in the masterclass today, I was actually mentioning that I don't really look at the brands at all, or who's it made by. You know, is it a doctor-led brand, or is it a celebrity skincare brand, right? So it actually matters, just the labeling requirements. Looking at the label, identifying the active ingredients and the supporting ingredients. And as part of my job, obviously, I need to trial a lot of products that I formulate, but also products that are sent for review to me. So in terms of like how I manage, right? So people would say, okay, but you know, you need to be in a consistent routine. Let's say if you have a lot of products, you just identify what is important for you. So for example, if I want to incorporate retinol in my skincare routine, as long as I take my retinol from a brand, it doesn't matter what brand would it be. So when it comes to, I would say, changing skincare, right? Let's say I'm using currently Obagi, so 0.5% retinol, but I know also that Olimier has, let's say, I don't know if they do actually, but let's say 0.5% retinol as well. Because I have those in my shelf at the moment, I can just pick depending on what I want. So, okay, I can use Olimier 0.5%, or I can use Obagi 0.5%. So it basically removes the whole brand element out of the equation, and it just literally makes you concentrate on what are the active ingredients that I'm using in this routine. What am I using tonight? So tomorrow, for example, if I want to use a lactic acid, it doesn't matter if it's a lactic acid from Olimier, or it doesn't matter if it's an lactic acid from another brand. I want to use lactic acid because that's probably the best exfoliating acid for my skin. Okay, so because I've got a dehydrated skin, let's say, I want to help reduce fine lines, but I can't really tolerate glycolic acid. So okay, lactic acid would be a great choice for me. So I just then would be able to then go, and depending on my budget and depending on like what is on my shelf, pick the correct ingredients depending on the, not on the brand, the full ingredient list.
So things like, you know, understanding where does mandelic acid fit into things. So I've, you know, in the last sort of 4 or 5 months, some of my patients who can't tolerate the salicylic acid side of things, you know, I've looked at mandelic acid formulations for some of those patients to just get that gentle a bit more of a
It's
sort of
very
gender.
uncommon, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm wondering which one did you advise for them? Because
There's,
it is not as common as
it's
lactic
not.
and
No.
salicylic and glycolic.
So it's a Neostrata brand. One of
Okay,
the Neostrata ones have got mandelic acid in them. I think
okay,
it's their clear or clarifying. I forget because
okay.
they've got confusing names. I find that
Yeah,
often
yeah.
brands have got confusing names, but it's a Neostrata one that they do, and it just goes back to understanding, what does this patient need and being able to. But yeah, absolutely. If I look at what are my most commonly advised ones, we all have our favorites that we know the formulation is going to work because of the understanding, and B, it gives the results because you've anecdotally you've used it on your patients and these are the patients and these are the type of skin conditions. So despite there being a huge kind of overwhelming choice, every practitioner will have their favorites
Yeah.
that they know that they go to, and because they understand them. But it's nice to know that I'm not limited by a brand. And as a doctor, I always feel uncomfortable when brand reps come and say, this is our blah 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 and this is fantastic. And that influence, you want to have that independent, unbiased opinion for your patients.
And if they also actually undervalue the importance they have, because when they actually teach you the whole brand training and just the protocol aside, you might not be able to sell as much, right? And I think this has definitely reflected on your skincare sales as well.
Yeah.
You have doubled your skincare sales, but that it actually had a good effect on them as well, right?
Yes.
Not actually limiting you to a specific treatment routine. So previously, if you were not able to directly sell a whole routine, you are now able to still pick the couple of products that are very, very suited for that patient, and then combine it with other products that might be more better suited for their budget, but still be able to sell more and double your revenue skincare sales, which is great. So they're actually undervaluing the value of education as well.
And sometimes, a whole regime that they've put together is perhaps a bit too harsh for the patient as well, in terms of, they can't go onto that full regime straight away. And you want the option. Also, is finding that I haven't found a brand yet. I haven't explored all of them, and there are lots and lots there. But the ones that I have explored, 5 or 6, I think I'm onto my 7th brand now, where it's got every single item right, that will fit every type of skin. They say, this is suitable for all skin types, this is suitable for all ethnicities, etc., all problems. But I don't think there is a brand that I've come across so far. I'm on brand number 7 or 8 that has got ticked all the boxes. I'm always picking from something to say their vitamin C is better, their retinol is better, blah blah blah. That's better for that. But then sometimes their vitamin C isn't right for that patient, and we need to pick one from a different brand. So there isn't one that fits everything. But
I think it's very, very hard to find a brand like that as well. I think it's probably better that there isn't a brand like that, because that would really, really limit the limit the choices. If there was like, this is what I always say. Like, I have my cleanser is a total different brand than my serum. My serum is a different. My favorite serum is a different brand than my moisturizer. My sunscreen totally different as well. Makeup so totally different. I like the variation. I do get that
question. I do get that question from patients. So if I'm using different brands, will that affect the result? Because isn't it better just to use the same brand, and the way that they're formulated is to build on, and that's when you do the training, they say, step 1, step 2, step 3, it builds on it. But only when you then understand the formulations, you say, actually, it doesn't matter, your cleanser depends. Do you need something that's hydrating? Do you need something that's exfoliating? What type of cleanser do you actually need? Are you somebody that wears a lot of makeup? Do you need to be doing something that's where you're double cleansing, etc.? And actually then you can, when you understand that aspect, you can say to them, it doesn't have to be this cleanser. It can be, La Roche cleanser, which is, half the price. And it's being able to, and then feel free to use it lots with your makeup, because then from a budget perspective, you're not thinking, I've got my £60 cleanser that I just want to use a little bit because I want to make it last.
No, true. Yeah, that's true. That's also a case, right? Because if you don't use enough of it because you're preserving it to
Yeah,
last you for the whole year,
yeah,
obviously you're not going to get the best results
no,
because it does have that application recommendation as well. Yeah, no, I think that's the point where also like when you go for a routine, let's say like a vitamin C collection, right? So the cleanser would have the vitamin C, the serum will have the vitamin C, the moisturizer will have the vitamin C. And almost you look at the same ingredients and it's different consistencies with the same active ingredient, the same
yeah,
supporting
yeah,
ingredient. And you're like,
yeah,
well, why am I just basically paying triple the amount of money to get something exactly in the same case as cleanser, a serum, and a toner and a moisturizer, exactly the same benefits? So it's almost best, and this is what we do really well as well in terms of how we identify the ingredients that would be suitable for our clients, in your case, in your patients, and then mixing and matching them
yeah,
depending in the skincare routine. So
yeah,
every single product that they are using is concentrating a different skin need and fulfilling
yes,
their whole skin need as a whole overall.
yeah,
Not just, oh, this skin needs brightening, therefore let's go for vitamin C cleanser and a vitamin C toner
yeah,
and a vitamin
yeah,
C moisturizer. Just
yeah,
concentrate the whole routine for one ingredient. And I think this is
absolutely.
what people will carry
Yeah.
on doing, sadly,
And
as well.
I'm guilty of doing that. So, when I first started out, it was just brand training and, saying, okay, this is the protocol and this is what you will follow, etc. And then when you start questioning, you're thinking, why did that patient have this reaction and why didn't they get this result? It is because actually they need to have something else in there. So you may be on a hydroquinone based protocol, but actually you do need some vitamin C as well. Or you need tret instead of retinol, or maybe you need exfoliation. And it's then, when you start to explore that, then you start thinking, hang on a second, do I fully understand it? And if I don't fully understand it, how can I advise my
Yeah,
patients what they need to do?
yeah. No, that's totally right. So we are approaching your first year, and yeah, tell me the main three things that has shaped your consultation business. We talked more about it. I'll say the whole general aspect of why it's very important. But if you were to pick three things that has essentially shaped your consultation business after completing the Skin Masterclass Pro, what would it be?
It would be the analysis assessment part. It's more standardized, as in, what I do for each patient is now the same in the assessment so that I know from a quality perspective, as opposed to, oh, you have pigmentation, therefore you must go on this protocol.
Mhm.
It is more bespoke, and I'm able to sort of tease out exactly what that patient requires. Um, and then that ability to be able to put together a bespoke package from that patient for their needs and their concerns. I think those are the two strongest points that I took away from and what changed in terms of what I was doing, because
Okay.
that then shapes everything that you do moving forward.
Mm.
And explaining to them that it's a journey, it's an investment, it's not a here you go, do 12 weeks of this and you're going to
Yeah.
have skin like J-Lo. It's
Oh, we hope.
investment and everybody's slightly different.
Oh, don't we always?
Yeah, the filtered J-Lo,
Yeah,
not the
and a body as well, not just the
yeah,
face and a body, right?
and body. Yeah, absolutely. Well, whole
Yeah,
different
that's a
Instagram
different
life.
part. But you do that treatments as well? Body treatments?
We do some body treatments, yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And I think next year what we're going to concentrate with you as well is trying to turn your business a little bit more virtual as well. So we'll
Yeah,
get into the virtual consultation
yeah,
element of it. I think that
yeah,
will be especially a game changer
absolutely.
for you. You are
I
such a
think
great
so. I think
educator.
I'm very much I like to see my patients, so
Yeah.
perhaps it's a little bit of the practitioner as opposed to the patients, but we that's our next step, is to increase our geographical reach, I suppose.
That would be perfect. And it might not, like you, again, it might, because your clinic has multiple estheticians and multiple skin therapists as well. So you might dedicate one person that would just literally be concentrating on your virtual consultation.
Yeah,
So they kind of have their standard protocol and their quality standards because they're just going to be day in, day out doing virtual
yeah,
consultations while you enjoy doing what you enjoy, which is seeing your patients face to face. I guess like it's, um, it's what you love, enjoy doing, right? Seeing your patients, touching your
Yeah.
patients, having interaction with them, having coffee with them, having a chat with them.
And
I
isn't it
think, yeah,
lovely, when you
it's
see
lovely.
them get the results that they want? I mean, we had a lady recently who is started our journey with acne, and some of the acne stories that we see, they're heartbreaking. These are men and women who have gone through formative periods of their life with a skin condition that can be controlled, not necessarily cured, but can definitely be controlled. And when you see them go through things, we had one lady who initially, when she came in, obviously had issues with confidence, etc. And then I think 9 months into her journey, after a variety of treatments, including skincare, and I walked into the clinic, she sat there in a beautiful dress, hair all done up, and that change in her and that confidence, it's really, I think, that is a factor of the job that is very, very rewarding when you see that change in people and their confidence. And we underestimate everyone thinks about the cosmetic aspect of, skin and everything, but we underestimate the psychological impact of helping somebody and improving their confidence when they look in the mirror and they like what they see.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I can definitely relate to that as well, because I've been a patient myself where I did have acne troubles, and I had to also complete a stage of Roaccutane as well. And this was going back like 10 years before, just
Wow.
before my marriage. So I was in that stage where I felt like I want to get clear skin before my marriage,
Yeah.
and I understand skincare, I can formulate, but why is it not working on myself, right? Like it's literally a matter of fact that sometimes you just need to get that medical advice. Sometimes you just
Yeah.
things cannot be controlled. So it might be your diet, it might be stress, it might
Yeah.
be hormones. So it's not practically that. I think that judgment, is slowly lifting away, because previously I had a lot of clinicians actually come and see me treat. I'm like, I've got bad skin myself. I feel like really embarrassed to advise
Yeah.
people on skincare when I have bad skin myself. And I'm like, well, that's literally life.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
Yeah.
I might go to bed and tomorrow I might have acne. It's not nothing that I've done wrong. It's
No.
just literally as part of my body.
And
So
they
it's just understanding
and
that.
patients like to ask, what do you do? What's your, and it's not, I think if you feel comfortable sharing it, you don't have to, because obviously it's a very personal thing, but they do like to know, and they like to know that it's very rare to have that sort of flawless, complete sort of, crystal type of skin, and everybody's skin has got imperfections, and just, I suppose, sometimes resetting that norm for people helps as well.
Yeah, no, that was a really good point where we can close the thing. As a closing point, I also want to ask you, what is your vision for your business for next year? Now we're ending 2022. You've done so incredibly well, and I'm really, really happy to have met you, to be a little part of your journey, as well as being able to communicate with you and help you along this journey of education, but also have you in our community, which you're a very, very valuable member.
Thank you.
So following that, we're finishing 2022. What's your vision for 2023? Where do you see your brand growing, your clinic growing? What's your personal aspirations for next year?
Firstly, I just want to say thank you. I'm really pleased that I found you, because you fulfill that need for me to have more knowledge, and it's just about, if I've got more knowledge, I can pass that on to the people that are coming to see me. In terms of vision, it's just to carry on growing, and we have a strong foundation now. We've built that understanding ourselves, and I just want us to continue and expand. And I think, I suppose, virtual consultations would be something that we will try to do more of, to increase our reach to people. We've got lots of expertise within the clinic, and why not share it with a wider audience?
Definitely. And how many people is in your clinic at the moment? How many people are working in your clinic at the moment?
I have one very experienced skin therapist esthetician, and I have a clinical partner as well. So there's 3 of us who are providing the treatments, and then we've got the admin team. So not a huge team, but we're doing.
But it's a beautiful family, isn't it?
It's lovely. Yeah.
It's bigger than my team. It's like me, myself, and I.
Well, the good thing is that everybody's ethos is the same, and I think that's one of the hardest things in business is to find like-minded people where your
Definitely.
values are the same. You know, we put the patient at the center of everything, and our ethos is about solving their problem. And you know, we are a business, but it's not about sales, because I think if you build that reputation, you get the results, then the sales part
Exactly.
just
This
naturally
is what I always
follows.
say.
Yeah,
Never ever concentrate on your sales, because your sales come when you provide a good service. That's
absolutely.
100%
Yeah,
guaranteed. I
yeah,
think lots of people uh, are so fixated on, I need to reach my KPIs, right? I
yeah,
need to reach my goals. I need to like smash my revenue. But then they forget that actually it's the quality of work and the passion that you
yeah,
have, and also the
absolutely.
education, your
Yeah,
knowledge, the continual professional
yeah,
development that you carry on taking throughout within your career is
exactly.
is what will set you apart, and that's going to be your unique selling point that people will come back
Yeah,
for. And it's that trust circle. So if
yeah,
someone comes and they are very happy, they will be telling their friends and their families, and they'll be coming in as well. So
absolutely.
almost like you are
And that's the
turning that wheel
strongest,
with love.
yeah, absolutely. That's the strongest marketing tool that you have, reputation, you know, knowing doesn't mean that you get it right every time. And I think that nobody can get things right, but it's about how you manage those little steps as you go along, as a business and as a professional. That's really important, because it's a lot about, we've talked about how somebody feels when their skin improves. It's again the service you're providing as well as the results. Is about how you're making somebody feel as well.
Definitely. I'm so glad that we had this conversation, Uzma.
Thank you.
It
Thank you
was so
for the
lovely to
invite.
have you. I'm going to end it now, and I'm also going to save it on my post, my grid, and I'm also going to invite you as a collaborator as well, so it will fall under your post as well. So if
Thank you.
anyone is around Yorkshire, you can go and see Dr. Uzma. She's brilliant. She's amazing. And I'm so happy to have you in our community.
Thank you very much, Ilham. I hope you have a nice rest of the
Yeah, thank
Sunday.
you so much. I'll be staying in, guys, for another 5 minutes just to answer any questions. But thank you so much, Uzma.
Take care. Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you. Right. I will be staying in for another 5 minutes just to answer any of the questions that you might have. Any business questions, if you're an esthetician or within the industry, if you want to ask anything about Skin Masterclass Pro, or if you are a skincare lover and you would like to ask any questions regarding skincare. I will take some questions now. Ask me your questions. I don't know how I turn this around for a Q&A, but you can either ask your questions in a comment section or you can put it as a question. Okay, someone asked in the comment section for acne treatment, what is the best ingredient to have? So for acne treatment, I would say it's very individualistic because it all depends on your sensitivity profile. So it is a very personalized, I'll say, approach that you can take. So I would say the most popular ingredients for treating acne, it would be benzoyl peroxide or azelaic acid. So if you are someone who can tolerate benzoyl peroxide and you want to use an antibacterial agent, you can apply 5% benzoyl peroxide, and you can keep it on and then apply your moisturizer on top. If you can't tolerate benzoyl peroxide, but you still want to use benzoyl peroxide, you can use short contact therapy of benzoyl peroxide. So this will be in a cleanser. So you can get 10%, I believe they do 5% and 10% of benzoyl peroxide. Since it's short therapy, you can use 10% benzoyl peroxide cleanser, apply it on, just wait maybe 30 seconds and then wash off. And that would be quite good as well. If you can't tolerate that either, azelaic acid at 20%. This is prescription in UK. Some brands would do azelaic acid at 10%, 15% without prescription. So you can look at azelaic acid as well. And then combine that with a good skincare routine. So make sure if your skin is oily, you are using ingredients such as salicylic acid, niacinamide to regulate sebum production. You can also incorporate a retinoid in your nighttime routine. So you can apply either retinaldehyde 0.05 or 0.1%. Or you can use tretinoin at 0.05% and 0.1% as well, which will need to be just prescribed to you. So again, you assess it. you should start seeing some results if you're using a good skincare routine. Again, it's not a matter of fact that here you go, this is the product that will solve all your questions, but really ensuring that you put it into a good skincare routine and you use it consistently. And if you're able to do that, you should start getting good results from 8 weeks onwards. And I would say from 16 weeks onwards, you can then slowly phase out from the antibacterial routine and start working on pigmentation. Go back. Does glycolic make you purge as well? Glycolic acid is not that bad, I would say. Glycolic acid, you can get different variations, right? So glycolic acid, I would say, if you never used before, there's different ways of how you can do it. So let's say it's your first time using any form of exfoliating acid. You can start with glycolic acid, but start at low concentration. So low concentration would be at 5%. 5%, and then you can slowly increase to 7%, 8%. Again, that glycolic acid is a bit more complicated than that. It also depends on the pH. So if the formula is at low pH, then you just need a lower percentage. If the formula is at high pH, then you would need maybe a slightly higher percentage as well. But it should be completely fine for you to use. If you do a patch test, if, for example, you use a couple of times and your skin can't really tolerate it, I would say the best alternative, depending on your skin needs, right? Considering the fact that you want to use glycolic acid, let's say for hydration, exfoliation, for mature skin types, I would say the best other alternative would be lactic acid, and the other best alternative would be PHA. If you're using glycolic acid for pore size, I would say the best alternative for that would be mandelic acid. So it really, really depends on what's your skin need, what's your skin type, why are you using that specific ingredient, why do you want to use it in the first place, and really finding the other best alternatives for yourself. Does adapalene 0.1 peel the skin while using it to treat acne? It depends. It is better tolerated than retinoic acid. So 0.1% retinoic acid has more of a peeling effect, I would say, that 0.1% adapalene. Either way, I would say if you're first time introducing a retinoid in your skincare routine, I would say a good point to start is using it 2 times a week. You do that for a couple of weeks until your skin is okay. It feels exactly the same. And don't make sure you moisturize after using that ingredient. And then what you would do is that slowly increase and build your tolerance. So you can start using it 3 times a week, which would be, let's say, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, give 2-day break, and then start again Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then eventually, the reason why you're probably using adapalene is to treat acne. So you have to get to a tolerable point where you're able to use it every single day, because it's used for treatment, not for maintenance. I would say if you're using an ingredient for maintenance, you can use it and you can do that skin cycling. However, if you're using it for treatment, so you want it to treat a condition and it's prescribed, you want to get to use it every day. So find ways of how you can use it every day. It can go either on top of your moisturizer, or you can do sandwiching. You can apply a serum, a very good hydrating skin barrier repairing serum, and on top of it, wait for 5-10 minutes, and then on top of it, apply your retinoid. So it basically kind of has a little bit of a barrier. And then apply a very nice, nourishing moisturizer on top. Is your course good for a good person who's not in industry at all? I would say it might be a little bit too advanced for a person who is not in the industry. I would say this consideration that it is a skincare course. It's not a skin course, but it's assuming that you understand skin, right? Because what I talk is about conditions and ingredients and basically being able to manage skin condition based on skincare ingredients. So if a person is not really trained in skin, they would find it a bit harder to adapt. It's not impossible, but it might take you a couple of more revisits, because what I do is I do a live masterclass. It's pretty much intense, 6 hours each day. So today, actually, it went over 7 hours. Tomorrow, another 7 hours. So it's very intense. But then I give the recording directly to you guys that you are able to watch it for 1 year. So you might need to go back a couple of times to really go back and, okay, Chidam talks about antioxidants. I have to really understand, what does antioxidants do? This is the skin. So you might have to read up on skin. And then you come back to my course and you read about skincare ingredients and active ingredients for antioxidants. So it might be a little bit more tricky, I would say. But a person who has a good level of understanding on skin and skincare, it is the perfect course for you, because what we are basically teaching is for you to be expertise in skincare science, for you to be able to adapt your knowledge into building your consultation process, like I've just explained with Dr. Uzma, for you to have a protocol and a quality management system based on skincare consultations, for you to be able to scale your consultations not only face-to-face but virtually online, for you to be able to convert more of your clients or your patients to be able to buy more from you. So if you are within the industry, it's a definite must course, because it is the only course that actually certifies you in your knowledge of skincare. So you become certified, CPD certified, licensed skincare consultant after finishing the course. So the long answer, that was a long answer. The short answer is yes, it would help that you have skin knowledge. Okay. Which products can you recommend for post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation? Post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, so again, I'll look at the sensitivity profile. I would say, if you want to go a protocol way, where you go and get a prescription for PIH, hydroquinone, tretinoin is a good combination to have. So use them at night, and hydroquinone, you can use it day and night. Tretinoin and hydroquinone combined together, use it at night. So that's a good combination to have to help brighten the skin. It's a great tyrosine inhibitor, and it is essentially the gold standard for pigmentation treatment. However, if you don't want to go prescription and you want to use a product that you can buy as a cosmeceutical ingredient, I would say there is not one specific ingredient that will be perfect like the hydroquinone retinoic acid. However, what you're then looking for is either a serum or a cream that combines the active ingredients of azelaic acid, alpha-arbutin, licorice, soy, NAG, tranexamic acid, niacinamide, kojic acid, kojic palmitide. So you can, as many of them as possible, if you can have in a cream, that would be great, in serum as well. Mandelic acid also is quite good. So if, let's say, you want to use a chemical exfoliant, you can use mandelic acid. Mandelic acid is very good for helping with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. All right, last two questions. Improve under-eye hollowness. So I would say it depends. So if it's a shadowing effect or hollowness that is literally a dent in the skin, you will need to talk to an esthetician. So they might need to fill that for you, or mesotherapy. I'm not trained in that, so I don't want to give advice on that. So in terms of specific ingredients that would remove or reduce the puffiness is, I would say, caffeine, some peptides as well, like specific peptides that are best for the eye area. Under eye darkness as well, I'll say a very low concentration, maybe 0.1% retinol, up to 0.3% retinol might be also good. You can use that to rejuvenate the skin as well. But again, if it's to do with the shape of your face and the hollowness that is caused from your facial structure, you might be better off talking to an esthetician, that they'll be able to basically give you a recommendation on that, which is their speciality. I always say I'm the specialty when it comes to skincare ingredients and processes. I'm a process engineer by trade, so anything to do with process, anything to do with optimizing, making better, that's my game. Right, last question. Let me go. I really like doing these. Malaysia flag. Hey, I'm in Malaysia too. I love this country. I love this country. I want to stay here forever. Sadly, we can't, but I want to stay here forever. Well, I can't give advice on breast. I'm sorry. That's not my speciality. I want to ask if micellar cleanser is good for making the first layer as a cleanser. Correct. So that's good. So you can use micellar cleanser. So it's like basically little micelles that makes the micellar cleanser. And that's a good way of removing like makeup. I'll say this is very matte, you'll see. So that's, I would need a micellar cleanser for that, or an oil cleanser. If you're using a mascara that is waterproof, again, that's good. So I would say I wouldn't so much use it on my face because I kind of feel like it dries my skin out. But I would use it on areas where I would need makeup removal the most. So for me, I always do heavy eye makeup, the same mascara and eyeliner, and then I also always have a matte lipstick. So I would need help in those because I don't want to get the cleanser and having to do this, right? Or having to do this. So micellar water, I just basically get it on a cotton pad. I soak the cotton pad, I just put it on, and I don't need to do anything. I just remove it and it just like dissolves everything. And then I go with my second cleanser on top. Hyperpigmentation, I think I mentioned already. Hyperpigmentation, hyperpigmentation, I think it's a good question. I think I've got that question 3-4 times. What I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to make a really nice, lovely post. I'll combine all the hyperpigmentation posts. I think I've got over 400 schematics now. It's a crazy obsession. So basically what I'm going to do is tomorrow I'll combine my hyperpigmentation schematics together and add it all in one, so you can like see the reasons of hyperpigmentation, the treatment plans of hyperpigmentation. I've been speaking, by the way, for 9 hours. So I'm doing this live after a masterclass, and tomorrow, actually in 7 hours, I have another 7 hours masterclass. Crazy. But then that's literally I'm gonna take a couple of weeks off, hopefully. What is everyone doing for the Christmas? Please, doctor. I'm not a doctor. Right. So I'm a chemical engineer and I specialize in skincare science. I'm a process chemical engineer and I'm also a cosmetic formulator and a skincare educator. Okay. Okay, I think I've covered most of the questions now. Thank you so much for joining me. It was lovely having you here. Any questions? Yeah, you can shoot me in my following live. I'm going to try and do these lives actually more frequently because I really do like doing these lives. But if you have any questions specifically on the certification program, the licensing program, you can DM me and I'll get back to you, or one of our team will get back to you with your answering your questions. So thank you so much for joining me and take care. Bye guys. Have a lovely evening. Take care.